Hello Mom and Dad Me World. So we are talking about the iPhone 13 mini that you see right here and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And this is not necessarily a comparison to see which is better, but a comparison to see which phone is best suited for you out there in case you are looking for a very small form factor phone or just a larger everyday phone. But they are both very similar, but yet both very different, as you can tell just by the size. So let's talk about this phone first. This is the iPhone 13 mini. This is it in the 256 gig midnight, and this is in aluminum frame right here. Next one up is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So this is the 256 gigabyte version. It only starts at that particular configuration, and this is the natural color in titanium, which this is mostly titanium with a little bit of aluminum for the reinforced outer. So both of these phones are running iOS 17.0.3. We're not going to go over benchmarks, but just know that this one right here is running the A15 Bionic and the Pro Max is running the A17 Pro. So let's talk about the most obvious differences between these two phones, and the most obvious difference is going to be the screen size and the size themselves. So this one right here, 6.7 inches with a dynamic island, and this one is 5.4 inches for the screen size, and obviously much smaller than this. This one is still using the notch as opposed to the dynamic island on the newer Pro Max. But speaking of screen size right here, with this 15 Pro Max, you have got 120 Hertz ProMotion OLED display, where this one you've got the standard 60 Hertz OLED, but ProMotion. So the ProMotion on this, to be very truthful and be very honest, you can feel it. It feels more fluid. The phone just feels more smooth. And as I said, that fluidity, you can actually tell with that 120 Hertz ProMotion, everything just moves and scrolls very smoothly with this particular phone. So when we're talking about the body here, you've got the titanium, but it does have some rounded edges right here. Feels very good in the hand. And then with this one right here with the aluminum, it is a bit more squared off, a little bit sharper. It does feel good, but you can tell that this one right here with having more rounded edges, it does feel a bit more smoother. But if you take a look at this particular body right here, you can tell that there is a nano SIM. There is a physical SIM on this one and an eSIM. And with the 15 Pro Max, you don't get a physical SIM, at least not in the United States. It is all dual eSIM if you want to run two phone numbers on one phone. And then if we flip it over to this side, you'll see that there is a standard mute switch here. And then on this one, there's actually an action button that you could program to do pretty much anything. And then if you flip it around towards the bottom, you've got Lightning with the 13 mini, and then you've got the new USB-C with 3.2 speeds on the 15 Pro Max. But like the 13 mini and the 14 and anything down to the iPhone 5, it will still have the Lightning connector. Only the iPhone 15 series will have the USB Type-C connection. And as far as the cameras, we will get into the cameras here just a little bit later. But let's talk about overheating. I know overheating has come up several times with the iPhone 15s and the iPhone 15 Pros to be specific. I have had absolutely zero overheating issues with the 15 Pro Max, but I've actually just had one small overheating issue with the 13 mini, and that is when I plug in the MagSafe battery charger to this. This is Apple's own MagSafe battery pack. I have got a heat warning pop up telling me it will not charge anymore until the phone does cool down, and this is when the phone battery gets very low. So speaking of batteries, this right here can go all day if you are a light to moderate user. If you are not a light to moderate user and you are more of a moderate to heavy user, this you will 100% need to charge midday, either with a battery pack or plugging it in directly to a charger, because it just will not last the whole day. Physically, this is a smaller phone, and it also has a physically smaller battery. As opposed to this phone right here, it is a substantially bigger phone than the 13 mini, but with this being a bigger phone, you've got a physically bigger battery. With this phone right here, it will absolutely go the whole day. It is a big phone with a big battery. I've used this for GPS, used it as a Wi-Fi hotspot to tether a computer or an iPad, and then I've also used this heavily for pictures and video. This will last the whole day. And when you are using it the whole day, you maybe get it down to about 10% or less, but that is with good heavy use. With light to moderate use, I'm talking maybe 40 to 50% by the time the day is over. But yeah, this phone will absolutely last the whole day, at least from my personal experience, it does. So let's talk about cameras right here. Apple claims 7 cameras, but in reality, it's actually 7 focal lengths. You've got your wide, you've got your ultra wide, you've got your 5x tetraprism lens, and then you've got your front camera right here. Those are the actual main cameras. And then with the 13 mini, you've got the main camera and then the ultra wide along with the front camera. So when they talk about having those 7 focal lengths, we're talking the wide camera can go 24, 28, or 35 with the wide camera. And then with the ultra wide camera, you're talking ultra wide being 13 millimeter and all the way down to macro, where it will focus close. And then the big difference here that you can physically see among the 2 phones is you've got the 5x tetraprism. This is going to be your zoom lens, where on this camera right here, where, you know, if I just turned it towards the camera, you actually don't have a 3rd physical zoom lens. So with the 15 Pro Max on the main camera, you can shoot 48 megapixel in either high efficiency image format or RAW, 24 megapixel or 12 megapixel. But the other cameras here, we're talking about the ultra wide and the 5x tetraprism zoom lens, they will actually shoot at 12 megapixels. This one right here will shoot at 12 megapixels overall with all of the cameras. Now they can actually both shoot at 4K 60 frames per second, but this camera right here will actually shoot 4K 60 in log format, which is going to be a flat image that you can actually color grade, and it looks like a mirrorless camera depending on your color grading. It just has that extra bit of quality with being able to record in log format. But whichever one you pick, they are both pretty darn good cameras. It's just that the bigger one does have a bit more options. So that leads me to my conclusion. So while both of these are really, really good phones, they can both ultimately do the very same thing. These are a mini supercomputer with telephone capabilities that we have either in our pockets or in the palm of our hands. Both of them are very capable. It's just this one has more options than this particular phone, but with more options comes a steeper price. With the 13 mini, this one could be had for anywhere between $500 to $600 if you can find it. They are no longer selling this new at the time of this recording at Apple. And this phone right here, I was about to say computer because it really is a computer, but this phone right here is a double start price of at least $1,200 going on up. So that's if you can find this phone right here. So really, it's going to be up to you on whatever phone you decide to get. Both are amazing phones, but it's just whichever phone suits you. Again, physically different, but with the new iOS updates, they both seem very, very new. Even this one right here, the 13 mini, and the bigger phone right here. But ultimately, it's going to be up to you to decide which phone you actually want to rock as your daily driver. So if this video helped you out, if you liked it, please like and subscribe. It really helps out our channel. And thank you very much for watching. And until the next video.